Right, morning all, and yes, I'm wearing my Capitals reverse retro. This, as I've said, it's a size 44, fits me just fine. And this way, the sleeves aren't aren't too long, even as long as they get. It's not that long, so I find them to fit a lot better. Yes, the logo's a little bit smaller on the 44s than on the other sizes, but that's okay too, because then some of the jerseys that I have that are 46s where they made the logo the same size, the logo can go right underneath the armpits on both sides. It's weird, but hey, I'm glad I have it because it's sold out pretty much everywhere. So I will not wear this to meetups. It probably doesn't leave the house. I don't want to risk it. Speaking of all of that, let us get into news of the day. January 13th is still the NHL's goal. That's the plan. We have not seen anything brought up yet for a vote by Board of Governors. We know they're still working on it. The divisions are still being worked on and tweaked as we talk, as we go through today. And there's been a potential change, not officially, but none of these divisions are official anyways, so we'll see if it changes again. But we may see the date slide a little bit from January 13th, and I know Bill Foley said it'll be, closer to February 1st. It's all speculation at this point, so that's how I treat it, as it's all basically speculation. The 13th is the goal. The good news being that both the union and the league agreed on that date, and then they agreed on the financials. So from there, everything else is just logistics, and it's not something they're going to disagree about. It's something they're working together on. One topic that may get some attention: the NHL is looking at potentially selling ad space on helmets that the players wear in game. And yes, this means we're going to get advertising on equipment and all of that, but we knew that was going to happen anyways. And again, and I've mentioned this before, it will not affect retail jerseys. That's what's always been said. You're not going to get jerseys with ads on them. Those are not going to be the ones they sell to the fans. If you see an ad on a player's jersey, the only way that you get that jersey with that ad on it is if you buy the game-worn jersey. So, yeah, ad space on helmets, looks like that's going to happen. So, yeah, we'll see how that works out. World Juniors are still moving ahead. I get questioned on this. Do you still think the World Juniors are happening? I've never hesitated on this. Yeah, I think so. I think they picked one province in Canada where they would probably be the last, I would think, to cancel it or try to cancel it. So, still going on. We're still seeing some movement in the rosters and players making it or not making the cut. And yet these are pretty solid rosters. I still think for teams in the NHL that didn't allow players to go, I think they're missing out on what could be the best World Juniors we've had. They're going to have the undivided attention of everybody in Canada, for one. And for two, the rosters look fantastic. And so I really am looking forward to this and looking forward to being able to have the time to cover it. Because that's been the argument every year, and it's true. When the NHL's on at the same time as World Juniors, I don't have the time in the day to be able to watch all of that hockey, report on all of that hockey. So I have to make a choice. And of course, I'm going to continue to support and cover the NHL with previews and reviews. And if anything slides, it's going to be World Juniors, not the other way around. So this year, a lot of World Juniors coverage. And we'll see how things turn out. So the swap that looks like it's going to happen, or has already happened, depending on who you ask, is that Minnesota goes to the Pacific, if that's what we're going to call it, where they'll be in the same division now as Vegas, Colorado, St. Louis, the California teams, and Arizona, whereas Dallas, it looks like, is moving to the same division as Tampa, Carolina, Columbus, Nashville, Florida, Chicago, and Detroit. And yes, I have a board right there with the divisions on it, so I'm not doing that by memory. I admit I'm cheating. But it's interesting to me they call that the Central, because Tampa's not very central. Carolina's not very central. I don't consider Florida to be a central area either. And Detroit will tell you they're in the East. So, right? I still say calling them Pacific, Central, Atlantic, or anything like that, I think, go with names. Just do it. Just do 4 names on the divisions. Just give names just for this year. Just something fun. And then we'll see how the format works from there. And don't be surprised if we see a situation where once we get to playoff time, like I said yesterday, we end up with play-ins, we end up with maybe central locations. We may end up with some kind of hub situations. Then again, that's a long ways down the road. That's about 6 months from now before we're talking about playoffs. So a lot can change over 6 months. This was a topic of conversation yesterday. I'm going to mention it today as well in a video. It was a debate we were kind of throwing back and forth on Twitter. Would a celebrity or an athlete getting the vaccination when it come out, does that sway the public? The idea that if celebrities and athletes are given the vaccination to show that it's safe, my answer is no, and I'm going to make it simple. If somebody is against the idea of being vaccinated next year, there will be any number of arguments as to why they still don't want it. They could argue, well, that celebrity, that athlete, they weren't given the real one. That was a placebo. There wasn't really a needle in that. That wasn't real. That kind of thing. And they could also argue, well, yeah, it didn't hurt them, but I heard about this study and it revealed this problem with it, and I don't trust it. So I don't think it necessarily sways any public opinion at all. And again, that's going to be the whole discussion of 2021. Once that all gets rolled out and it's readily available, which will be in the spring when it's more readily available. It's not going to be everybody will have it. It's just going to be more readily available as it again gets handed out. But that's a big minefield that's waiting for me in 2021. So as much as I'm saying I'm glad 2020 is winding down, yeah, 2021 is waiting right there. And saying you thought 2020 was fun, you wait for 2021. And I'm hoping 2021 is a lot of fun because we haven't really had any fun this year. Meetups. Want to be able to do meetups next summer. That's I really want to be able to do that. I want to be able to go out and play street hockey next summer. And I know there's a lot of viewers of this channel that have been to meetups that I've held that want to have more. And also people who've never been to one of my meetups that are like, that sounds like, would you just play street hockey? Cool. Yeah, and we bring extra sticks. And we have tons of the orange balls we bring with us. So it's not like in Clerks where you lose the one ball and you go, pfft. Because, we got the one kid, and you know who you are, that you're going to fire that ball out into the woods, and then good luck finding it. That's gone. That does happen, where we end up going out hunting for the ball. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's other people. It's part of the Canadian experience of playing street hockey, road hockey, not so much floor hockey because you're in a gym, but part of the experience is losing the ball. That is a big part of the experience, is losing the ball. And just, now we got to find the ball. That's why it's bright orange, because if it was green, it's gone. Anyway, yeah, so hopefully we're all in better shape next summer, and we can go out and do that. Moritz Seider is generating a lot of press about how well he's playing this year in the SHL. And of course, yes, not eligible to come over and play in the NHL until the SHL season is over. The good news is, if you're a Wings fan, well, we're not starting the season until January 13th at the earliest. The season in the SHL ends in March, right? Around March. So that's not that long. And then Seider could come over and play for the Wings as soon as the SHL season's over. So it'll be interesting to see if he comes over, if he ends up in the top four right away, if he ends up in the press box for a bit while he's getting used to the North American ice, or what they do with him. It's going to be really interesting to see, because again, for Yzerman, that's the first piece that he's drafted that, might get into the lineup, and we might start seeing a real positive difference. So, once Rogel's season has ended, he can come over and start watching and playing games with the Wings. Also, yesterday, this made news, and again, didn't do a news video yesterday. There wasn't really that much going on. I mean, the divisional alignment seemed to be interesting, but in terms of that didn't really fit in a news video. So I was like, all right, I'll talk about the divisional alignment. It really wasn't enough for a news video. But the Professional Women's Hockey Player Association, if I butchered that, I apologize. But basically, the women's union, their Calgary team is now Team Scotiabank. Scotiabank has agreed to partner up with them, and that sponsorship's important. So there you go. There's 2 teams. You have Team Sonnet in Toronto, and you have Team Scotiabank in Calgary. It's a start. And of course, we'll see when they're able to play, what kind of format's going to be used for a league if they get that going, or tournaments, or what they're going to do. But yeah, so there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support, and we'll talk to you again soon.